Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second part of our review of Diamond D and the Psychotic Neurotics album, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop. This is the whole second half of that project. My name is Holden, Stephan, Roy.
I'm your lady friend, Bonnie.
And this is the Classic West podcast, the show where we break down the classic, alleged classics, usually classics, the hip hop albums throughout the ages, new, old, and we just try to go through it all track by track. That's our little niche, and just kind of dive into them all and then put it all together and try to understand why the albums are wonderful. But we did all this introduction stuff in part one, where we go through the beginning and do all the introduction stuff, so you should check that out. And we did put out that episode a couple hours ago, and on that we got 2 comments, and they're both from patrons because they're dope.
Yep.
I shouldn't have sworn. Hopefully I'm gonna edit that out. So this episode is a Patreon request from Lindell Williams, so he got to watch it a bit early. And then we got these 2 comments. So from DJ Black Hurricane 1992 in the house, Diamond D's production on the album is absolutely ridiculous. Even though I had this on vinyl, what tends to happen with albums over 20 songs, and this is where the comment got real good, is that they don't include them all. I went for mine, and Red Light, Green Light happened to be my favorite joints off the album, but in typical 90s vinyl fashion, they're not there on the vinyl press.
Weird. Like, I wonder, like, why, like...
Space.
Like, those...
Right?
Like, but, like, why, like, those songs? Like, who decides to cut, like, which songs? You know, like, is it like the artist? Is it like the producers? Is it just like
the label?
Is it just, you know, like, who decides?
But yeah, so they weren't there, and I think that's one of the more interesting things, because you vinyl collectors out there have been teaching us kind of just how different things operate like that. Like,
and
I think it's super interesting.
All of like the songs that are cut off of like records, if they're put all onto another record. Of like the Leftovers record. Here's
like a
all
B-side
the random,
or something.
Like, but like an entire record of just like,
so like everything
songs
from
that
a
get
label.
Cut from maybe.
I guess.
Or from like a genre or an artist or something, if they have like release a lot.
Isn't that just the unreleased album, the like unpolished, unfinished songs that comes out at the end of your career?
No, because they're already out, but on like CD.
Oh, right.
But they're not on vinyl.
I see what you're saying. I don't know. Anyway, so you can let us know in the comments what you think. As you can tell, we care about the comments. So if you do feel like you want to educate, inform, correct, whatever, feel free to drop that down there. Anyway, so just one of the unfortunate and damning aspects of collecting hip-hop records. Classic DITC, that's digging in the crates for all the people who may not know.
Yeah, we
record,
know.
An album meant for the people that love samples that are layered on top of each other. And I have to give Diamond D credit so far. That's definitely been a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And that's why the early 90s hip-hop production resonates with me most. Great review so far, guys. Thanks, DJ Black Hurricane.
Yeah.
But no, for real, that comment's really cool. I'm going to steal his layering thing comment that he made there. Lindell goes, nice first half, and I think this album is one of those diamonds. I see what you did
Good
there.
play on words.
In the rough that will eventually become known as a classic in the future as more people dig in the crates for slept on albums.
That's right.
And they will, because of YouTube and stuff. For all the terrible that might go on in the world of today, there's a lot of really amazing benefits. Like
discovering like these kind of like little artists or like smaller artists that kind of got lost like in like the mainstream or whatever.
I'm like, there's a 0% chance I would have come across, you know, honestly, Diamond and the
absolutely
like this whole album if it had not been for this whole YouTube adventure. So internet's cool sometimes. And then Lindell goes, as far as the skits go, they're just there for the vibe to put you in the atmosphere of the inner city hip hop culture at the time. But I see how they can be looked at as what exactly is that there for from a 2019 point of view.
Right.
It's exactly how it feels. A good way to think about those skits is imagining all the things they were saying at that dice game on the cover. Also keep in mind, unlike an album review where these skits were put on the album, some of them weren't made to be analyzed outside a political song or political album. And great job so far.
Fair enough.
To that I would say, I don't care. It's there today, and that's just what it is. It's part of the album. It either works.
No, but that's interesting.
Like, here's an example.
He's probably, you know,
no, and I totally appreciate it.
Like the perspective of.
But like let's take a comparison. We have Big Punisher's threesome skit where he shows effective problem solving and making the ladies happy in the situation.
Sure.
It showed Big Pun being this player, suave, rico suave kind of guy, right? And it really worked because of his personality that put on the album, and I thought it added value to like the character of Big Pun.
Yes.
By comparison, Dr. Dre's porno skits are just like Dr. Dre just has no self-esteem is what you feel like when you listen to those skits for how actually awful they are. They're both in the same vein of things, sex skits, but you can have ones that, in my opinion, are higher value and interesting. Like, I'm telling you, man, Big Pun taught a lot of people how to handle a situation right there. Whereas Dre created an unrealistic circumstance that was just weird to listen to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for the skits on this album, I do appreciate the fact that if I was in the environment growing up there, maybe I would have heard a bunch of stuff like that and it added value. But it just feels so scattered on this album. And maybe that was just cool, but that's just my opinion on the skits so far. We've done a lot of albums where I feel like the skits were more, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them. Anyway, that's enough about that. Before we get into it, special thanks to the patrons, and there's a new patron. So Coney Sparks, that's the first time I'm saying that.
What is
Linda,
it?
Coney Sparks.
That's right.
Linda Williams, Ismilga Dempsey, Chris Prower, Jonathan Barnes, and DJ Black Hurricane. Y'all are awesome. So we showed you it at the beginning while people watch, and then we'll touch on that at the end. On that note, I think the people are here for the other 12 or whatever, 13 things to talk about on this album tonight. Thanks, Lindell, for the long one. But the truth
That's what
is,
she said.
We put it out on the internet because I went for mine.
To the chit chat, sweet as a Kit Kat. Diamond, where'd you get that beat from? Yo, Jazzy Doug in.
I like this track. I mean, the like Cole's Notes version is don't wait for opportunity. I saw that things weren't interesting, so I decided to go for it and do it myself.
Yeah.
And then we're listening to the results of that. And I think it's pretty well put together. And I kind of like the fact that instead of making it like I'm the shit, which, you know, is often the theme of, let's say, that kind of accomplishment track, it's almost like the whole way through is, yeah, I went for mine, but immediately after, so go for yours. Like, this isn't just meant to be, oh, I'm gonna go do it. It's, yo, I did it. It doesn't make no freaking sense that I did it. I mean, it does. But that means you can do it too. And I like the fact that he takes the time and the opportunity even just to encourage people to achieve better things in their life in the middle of his album where he's been flossing and whatnot over smooth, beautiful production. What do you think about this track?
I mean, basically the same sort of stuff. I mean, I definitely agree with you on the smooth beat. It's very cool, and I like how it's crackly like a record. I always enjoy that. And he's basically telling us about his life and dealing with like the record industry and kind of like how and like where he grew up, and like how he went for his. He didn't miss the opportunity. He jumped on things. He didn't wait around like you were saying. Like he did it. He just went and did it. He decided he was going to do it, and he did it. And so it's sort of like a good lesson and a good story, and it's nice. I give it a 4.25.
I mean, even the verses bring a certain degree. Like, you can, in the way he delivers them, you almost feel this compassionate tone where, again, there's confidence in what he does, but it's not meant to intimidate you in any way. You know, my name is Diamond. Yep, you guessed it. Ran 1,000 schemes, never been arrested. And that's cool because he's kind of flowing through on a simple rhyme scheme there. But the point is I've been and done some stuff in my life, and it worked out that I got lucky, which he kind of conveys in the next line. But then he goes, and intelligent, so everything is relevant. Vision is clear, and I'll have to wear contacts. Get a good lawyer, no shorts on my contracts. Beats are selected with the highest scrutiny. I played Mr. Christian in Just Take Mutiny. I read that last line because it rhymed, but I have no idea what the hell that means. However, the rest of it's pretty interesting to me because he's kind of saying, I paid attention and I made sure that I protected what was mine, and then I made sure that there was an integrity and a standard to what I'm doing.
And he also says that, you know, he like worked hard and he kind of studied at like what he was going to be doing. So he didn't just jump into it. Like he learned about it. He took in as much information as he could and really got involved into it. So I think that that's important too.
And I like when he goes, the object of his song is to keep your head moving. Hope you find a good A&R, man. A lot of acts get signed, and when the album comes out, everybody says, man, take that record off. Don't waste my time, due to the fact I went for mine. So in this case, he points out that you can go down the route of, let's say, going through an A&R who is the person at the label who I believe is supposed to find new talents and then develop them into something more that can be released and basically turn you into a product of that label. And you can do that, but there's a good chance that your album will compete against the deeper integrity and quality of somebody who handcrafted something to the degree that came from a Mr. Diamond D. And he's not claiming to be the best rapper. He's claiming to be a good song maker, and I've got to give him all the credit, because you can't help but like enjoy the vibe of this. You might like, this is one of those albums, I don't even know if I said this last part, but like you can totally just throw it on in the background while you're working. Maybe it's because I worked today and I had this album playing while I was like writing up some stuff, and I realized, damn, this is just, it's smooth and it just flows real nice. And sometimes albums can work real well in the background, and sometimes there's stuff you really want to focus on. And I believe that he manages to make this album something that can do both those things, because when you do decide to focus, the lyrical content is there and it's interesting enough to make it something you want to listen to, because it's not whack. But really the beats, I think, and the overall flow and feel of the song is the true attraction to it, and just in general everything on this project, for those of you that didn't bother with part one. Anyway, I enjoyed listening to this a lot. I don't think there's a whole lot in the second verse that I thought was like super next level. However, when he goes to Zulu Nation for the foundation from when I was a kid watching Lost in Space, and I'll never forget because I'm totally committed to making slamming joints to prove my point. So I mean, on the one hand, it feels like he found himself, and, maybe, I don't know if the Lost in Space part is meant to imply that Western media or something is a distraction and keeps you from learning the truth about your heritage or whatever. I was just more happy that somebody's talking about Lost in Space because it's cool. I'm into that stuff. Anyway, so I really appreciate the vast array of references that get made in his songs, and in case I didn't say it enough last time, I just wanted to give love to that, because I'm probably going to forget to bring it up on all the other songs. Give all the attention to the first one, and then, it slowly trickles as we go on through. Still, I like the hook, or the feel that comes from it. It just overall is a real nice song. So I gave this one a 4.5 on 5 because I think it's a pretty stellar song. And then we move into a skit where I do think the quality of the skit changes because we had that little skit chat. But then again, how could it not? We're talking about comments from Big L and Showbiz.
Peace. Correct. This is the one rude boy. Showbiz for showbiz.
So Big L is ready to kill you. I mean, he just sounds like it with all what he says. Anyway, he comes in hard and he's like, this is real. That wick whack bullshit, it's gone. Peace. And then Showbiz is going to chop off the head of anybody that commercialized. Peace. Real hip hop back on the mic. Come now, rewind. And basically, this is a little skit from these two fellow digging in the crates homies to shout out the squad and hype this up as like the authentic and the real. And I think it's cool. And I think, unlike the other skits, which I guess you're right could be the dice game thing, this felt like cool because it was like showing love to some guys in the squad and giving them a little chance to speak over that production value. And I thought they sounded dope, so I give it a 4.25 on 5.
Okay, I don't know. I just wasn't sure if this was made for them or if this was taken from something. It just didn't feel like it necessarily fit properly. I don't know, there was something about it that I was like, oh, that felt a little bit off, even though I knew what I was expecting, I know who I was expecting. So I just felt like I needed a little bit explanation, but it's still a good shout out for saying this is legit, this is my homie. But for me, it's not my favorite, so I gave it a 3.7.
That's okay. We can get in and start talking about another song as we go. Check 1, comma space 2.
I took a blues break and I broke it. See, I'm swift with the words and the verbs and the...
He's sick. or slick with the verbs and the pronouns. Diamond D's got the new sound. What do you think of this track, this check 1 2?
This one is just like a fly song. Like, it's just like got great lyrics, great rhymes. Like, the whole thing is pretty cool. Like, I mean, even just like some of like the first rhymes. Ayo, I'm dip as I'm as smooth as Miracle Whip, but try to flip and claim I'm not legit. Like, it's just like so simple, but I like the Miracle Whip because like who rhymes with that? Who's like, okay, that's what I'm gonna rhyme with. So it's just like fun little things that like they're like messing around with, and it's just like a cool flow, and it's just like kind of like showing off their skills, and I really like it. So I gave it a 4.4 on 5.
So, to answer your question about the skit, if you think about it, I went from mine as kind of like him going after his musical prowess, but from a point of integrity and quality and not from selling out your soul. Followed by a skit of Big L and Showbiz being like, this the real, followed by a flossy song about how this is the real.
Yeah.
And so I thought it actually really fit in terms of setting up this track pretty well. I mean, and it's fun, right? Because he says shit like, see on the flavor in the hip-hop batter, schooled in the trade, so I'm gonna stay paid, made in the shade from the tracks that I laid, like the golden goose, and it's good for the gander. On the DL, don't need propaganda. And I'm just like, man, it's just so simple, but really effective. Like, it all rhymes. It all hits the flow really well. Like, it's tight. On that slower end of flow, it is super tight. But he's just saying, I'm going to do it quality, and I'm going to get paid because I do it quality, and I'm going to build up my career and my legacy because I am not fake with this shit.
Yep.
Don't try to play me, you'd better play Bingo or Monopoly by Milton Bradley. And I was like, when he dropped the Milton Bradley part, I'm like,
right?
It's just like, man, that's like really taking it to
it's
that
something
next
that everybody
level.
knows, I feel like, in like the back of their mind.
And then I had to school another brother, but he had only took a second and checked the track record. He would have seen that I'm solid. And it's just like, yo, I'll beat you in any kind of game. My rapping is that talented in a sense, comparing it to whatever, and other people are just playing silly games next to him. You go and school it and I'll win.
Yep.
It's freaking good. Give some shout outs to Master Robin, the Ultimate Force. The 90s are here and we're on the right course. I'm Africa Bambata. And just kind of like shouts out to people who, again, laid that foundation, showing respect to the older cats while still showing that, yeah, but we're here and we're taking it. You know, and overall, it's really fun. I like the way the second verse, and I like how he kind of like breaks the blues break line, and then it just kind of the beat changes up to like support what he's saying, and that was really dope. And I think that's one of the assets to being able to mess around with a production, and makes me kind of want to learn more about production, because that makes it kind of personalized in the next level kind of way. Or like when he goes, I get hype when I kick the ballistics and get paid from the use of my linguistics. The style is dope even though it's simplistic, sort of breaks me out, so now I drink Mystic. And the rest I listen to the stylistics, break down rappers like they had a cystic. And I'm just like, man, that is so simple. Like, it is just so, like, there's not much to like interpret. It's just, that's it.
Yep.
You know, he's cystic
straightforward.
fibrosis, never snacking on a Hostess or pork rinds, because that shit's swine, meaning it's poison food, and we shouldn't eat poison food. I know, I'm working on cutting out the poison food from my life too, and being healthier. It's miserable.
Yep.
I no longer dream about potato chips, but I still want them real bad.
Ice cream. I just want ice cream.
But no,
So
it's time to do it. You got to give this guy credit for saying I slam shit up like Wayne Gretzky, because it's a hockey line, and that's fucking dope. Anyway, I enjoyed listening to this track, but it wasn't like as next level as the last one we were just discussing. Like, I went from mine. I feel like it's fun, and it works, and does everything it's supposed to do nicely, and I'll bet from a production point of view it slays it, for real. So I'm giving it a 4.25 on 5.
Cool.
Well, Bonnie, what you seek is some ice cream.
For the show, yeah, and act like you know. Come on.
I think I believe on the last part I said that this was kind of like listening to one-liner stand-up comedy sometime, and it's really fun. And I think there were 2 lyrics on this album that on my first listen were so substantial I tweeted them out. One of them does appear on this song from Mr. Diamond D. The part I'm gonna start with is search for beats with my man called Show, then I shoot the git with my man Fat Joe. And it's like, okay, cool. I put this together like an old pro. Alright, so he's with the squad, they're making some music, and you gotta add me, cause like a fly, I'm on some other shit. And I died. I mean, every time I hear it, I just crack up inside because it's so funny to me. That is the funniest rap lyric. And it's one of the funniest rap lyrics I've ever heard. Because if we, like, taking in mind how simplistic the lyrical rhyme scheme is, and again, not in a negative sense, because that's witty. That is so witty that I'm laughing because it's so well written. Like, I'm not insulting this line. I think it's truly divine because you know what flies do? Flies go on other shit. And I love it.
Yep.
Because that's literally what flies do, but it's a completely flawless double entendre. But you know what makes it remarkable? Truly remarkable.
Tell me.
It's like how innocuous he is for how fresh it is, right? Like, everyone else is like practically killing me. Or like really coming in with some more aggressive or hard or out there stuff. He's just going a different route. He's like, nah. Flies, they land on other shit. My lyrics are kind of like a fly because I'm on some other shit. And that's as deep as the bar goes. But that's what makes it truly remarkable.
Yeah.
And I really like this song. I do. It's really fun to listen to.
It is.
The beat's really great. I mean, flip the script just like Marlon Brando. Run more game than that park in Orlando, Florida, or the other in Cali. And I'm like, shit, he just mentioned Disneyland and Disney World. Because that's what he was talking about.
Yep.
And Marlon Brando. I'm just like, this guy's amazing. And I mean that super sincerely. And then if I go broke, I'll just pimp Sally, push in the bush, and I don't mean George. And I'm like, damn.
But I like how it like touches back to like a previous song. So I think that that's kind of cool.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I should annotate that lyric in Genius and get some points.
There you go. I'm giving you the points.
Pushing the bush, and I don't mean George. Anyway, it's freaking great. It's just fun to listen to. And I think this is another one that it's in that same vein. If you want to just catch some cool lines. And, like, for the most part, this album's kind of family friendly. Like, there are a couple of exceptions, but, like, you could, relative to much of what we put this album on in front of kids in 2019, and it's better than, like, a lot of what the radio plays. Like, keep in mind, number one hits that kids are banging to include lyrics like, I've been fucking hoes and popping pillies, man, I feel just like a rock star. I'm just saying, compared against...
I was walking through the park today, and, like, this, like, little kid, this, like, 5-year-old kid started singing. He was French, and so it was really cute because he had an accent while he was singing it. Old Town Road. He started singing Old Town Road, and I was like, oh my god. So
Old Town Road, I think, is fine. It's whatever, but
it's all the kids are
even
singing.
then,
It's so cute.
What really got me going crazy was when I thought about the Future song right there, because you know I remember all the songs I listened to when I was a kid, and at some point when I was like 10 to 12 and Google was a thing, we started looking stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
So all those 4-year-olds who don't understand Percocets, Molly Percocets now are going to know what that means by the time they're 7 because of this song. Why? Because they're all going to be given phones.
They're not really going to get it.
No, but like...
They're not going to understand. Like,
that's fair.
Like, unless like somebody in the family is like using and they can see like firsthand what it does.
And I'm not trying to like be that guy because I realize I'm getting old and I'm starting to be that guy more than I'd like to be. But it just makes me think about like how some of this stuff is so radio present just because numbers say it's popping and everyone just assumes kids are stupid for some reason. And that's the truth of it. You talk to any parent and they're basically go, my kid's young and stupid, so who cares? I asked a lot of parents. I got real curious.
And then you ask the kids and they all know what's up.
They're like, Percocets, Molly Percocet. And you're just like, that's weird. They're too, like, to me it seems weird. Anyway, but maybe it's because when I was a kid I wasn't allowed to listen to any of this shit. If you were allowed to listen to that shit, for you it's probably like, this guy's an old fogey.
I was singing like Little Mermaid songs and stuff, so I still sing Little Mermaid songs.
She does.
So it doesn't really change.
But I like this one a little bit more than the last one. It wasn't like one of the next level ones, but it was a thoroughly enjoyable track, and I give it a 4.35 on 5.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the beat on this one, and it's like just like the background of it, and it's more energetic, this one. I really like it. And basically it's about how hyped they are and how they make like great moves and make money and do whatever. And it's just fly, like, you know, and that's kind of like what they say, that this is just a fly song. And so I'm just quoting them kind of. And it's just a fun song. And it's just like, you have to like listen to it because like you would have to like hear like I can't do like the sound but like that's in like the background, and I won't do it because I'm just gonna do whatever terribly. But I mean it's cool. I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
All right. I believe the next one is a skit, and it's called Lunchroom Chatter.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. No excuses.
I get it. Context, environment. It's setting up a vibe. It's fine. It says stuff. They're dissing each other a little bit. The drums are fucking phenomenal. The drums are so good.
That's true. Yep.
So I'm giving this one a 4 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, I give it about the same. So, I mean, there's a lot of Yo Mama jokes featured. It seemed to be, like, something that was, like, featured on a few albums, like, at this time. Or, like, you know, in this culture or something. Like, in, like, the 90s.
Like, literally my whole high school life was Yo Mama jokes.
Really?
Yeah.
Lame. Anyways.
It's like, you know, like, yo, mama's so fat when she sit around the house, she sit around the house.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, I feel like I did that in, like, grade 3, and I was like, these are stupid. Anyways.
Anyway.
I was highly intellectual. Blah, blah, blah.
Or you would say, like, yo, you keep my mama out this, so I'll keep this out your mama.
Oh, God. Okay.
I know your mom.
Anyways, so, like, that's just what it is. And it's 27 seconds, so it's quite short.
Great drums.
And this skit is basically, I found, like, a continuation of, like, the last car on the 2 train. Like, it seemed like the same kind of guys, like, chit-chatting, but, like, here in, like, a different location. Like, just kind of, like, being goofy again. Like, the same sort of, like, feeling as the last one. And I didn't really know if, like, these jokes were funny. But, like, it sounds like they're having fun. But for me, I was just like, these jokes aren't funny. So I gave it a 3.9 on 5.
All right.
Because I was confused.
Invited her in for
All right. So, Bonnie, why don't you tell us a tale about meeting up with your ex-girlfriend and fucking her?
So this one definitely sounds like it's from 1992. This is the only one that I feel like definitely has that, like, dated kind of sound. But anyways, he got his paycheck and he wants to go out, but he can't decide where he wants to go. So he's just like, meh, fuck it, I'll just go home. And then when he gets there, his, like, ex-girlfriend is waiting outside. And, you know, she's basically like, I'm back. Like, I regret leaving you. Like, I want you back. And he's kind of like, I'm not really interested in this. He's like, but she's still hot, so come on in. Typical guy. And obviously, you know, things get a little heated, and then they end up sleeping together, and she stays overnight. And then, like, he kind of, like, wakes up and, like, he's not really sure, like, how to react or, like, what he thinks anymore. And, you know, maybe it wasn't, like, a wise decision, and that they just want to be friends. You know, he just wants to be friends, but they can still sleep together occasionally, you know, which is cool, like, you know, on the side. And she's kind of, like, a little bit pissed off because, you know, obviously she was hoping for more. And, you know, so it's basically just about, like, you know, anyways, and then she leaves, and that's pretty much it. And, you know, so he's kind of, like, made, you know, the decent choice, I guess, sort of. But he's kind of confused. He doesn't know if he wants her or if he doesn't, or, like, you know, she's coming back. Like, is it real? Like, you know, should he go back out with her? Like, you know, you kind of know, you know, it's somebody that maybe you were comfortable with and whatever, and it's just easy, but, like, maybe it's not, like, the greatest, so it's kind of like, you know, just like a in the meantime kind of girl, or is it gonna maybe be something more, blah, 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 blah. All these millions of questions that we all ask, you know, when we're maybe thinking of starting a relationship or getting involved with somebody, you know, in, like, a romantic sort of setting. And so it's good, and it's, like, another good story, and I really appreciate, like, all these, like, clear stories of, like, you know, this is what happened, and then it's like, you know, I like that. So I give it a 4.4 on 5.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. He just, like, kind of seems so regular, and I think that's my favorite part of the story. Like, so often it's so grandiose, and that's cool. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fantasy that should come into music, and I'm not trying to, like, put any tarnish on that, but, like, sometimes I want to relate to what I'm listening to. And who can't relate to, yo, well, it's Friday night and I just cashed my check? Well, I can't relate to that because it comes Thursday. That's not the point. The weekend's here, so my thoughts I collect. It's been a long week, so here comes the weekend. Time for girl seeking. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Who doesn't know what it's like to end up on a Friday night basically with some cash wanting to go out to smash? Everybody been there.
Yep.
Everybody done that.
Right.
And then you end up dating a girl for years and you're like, holy crap, I can't do this or that no more. I'm just saying it happens sometimes. Anyway, so he takes some movie. He's like, what am I going to do? So he puts on his headphones. He's bopping around to some Gangstar. And he's in the last car. People are smoking some Buddha. Everything's good. And then he sees the girl. And I like the way he just kind of rhymes it. He's like, yo, she's like, I said, hello, what brings you around? You used to try to diss me, so don't say you miss me. She said she made a mistake when she left me for a kid whose pockets were hefty. And at that time, I don't have a dime, so tell me what's on your mind. She said she wants me back. Things will be fat. And I'm like, this is, again, really, really simple. But at the same time, rather than having to decipher anything, I'm just like, this is the story. It's this. It's pretty good. And it's very realistic. And sometimes after a relationship ends, as a man, if she comes around and you were already feeling like you wanted some and you weren't getting some, and some is in front of you, it's not the worst idea to do the some, even if it's a bad idea.
Ladies, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's never worth it.
But they always want to, so it just happens. Like, they always want to. Anyway.
Girls want to do it just as much as guys do. It's just that we don't walk around and being like, let's fuck, blah.
Yeah, when you're all exes, y'all fuck with the same level of stupidity regardless of gender. I don't know what you're talking about. Girls are blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're 30-something now. You're not the same as the girls these days.
Oh.
That's right. You get.
I'm a lady now, right? I'm your lady friend, Bonnie.
Yeah, that's what we'll say. I like when he's like, while I was scheming, memorize a lot of lies, so I just sit back, crack a 6-pack, hit the boom, grind a handful of Tic Tacs. Now's the time. No need to start faking. Let's commence the love making. On and on till the next morn, pumping all night like Exxon. It's so good, man.
So
it
cheesy.
is so good. Thanks, Lindell. It is so good. Anyway, then the whole rest of the song plays out, and he kind of is just like, damn, I'm confused. Why did I have sex with her? Now that my dick isn't in charge of my thinking no more, I feel like this was a bad idea. It was a good song over a decent beat. I gave it a 4.25. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, past that shit,
You sure?
I guess.
Yes, and somewhat wise, undisguised, over-energized, puzzle you see. Right.
Get so much sex, I belong. Hard like a penis, that's how I'm living.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
That is the strangest flex in the history of strange flexes, right? So I get it, man, because when you're having sex, the penis gets hard. So I guess he's hard in the sense that his life is hard, and as I understand it, it really was. But hard like a penis is a weird comparison to make for your life if you're a straight dude.
Yep.
I'm throwing it out there because there's lots of these weird lines like that throughout hip-hop, and this is one of the best versions I've ever heard. How do you feel about this song?
Well, so this one, it's kind of starts off with like these like people yelling, but you can't really like make out like what they're saying. Well, it's not, and it kind of like is in the background, but like throughout the whole song, and it's kind of annoying because it's really distracting because like that's like kind of what like I always like kept going to, and I kind of got distracted from the lyrics, so I didn't really like that little feature. And so this is like a crew track, everybody's like got their part, and I felt like I was a little bit conflicted with this one. But I think like some of like the verses are really good, but the background noise is just like the worst. And I have to agree but disagree with you on like Fat Joe's amazing verses, like his great lines. I
just said that one line.
But they all have sick styles. And like cool rhymes and whatever, but like this is what I thought was cool from Fat Joe's verse. Who played for the Mets, but I love the Jets. See, when you're a jet to your last cigarette. Ha, I make the Glock jump for glory. And yes, that was a phrase from West Side Story. So I love that. I love that.
Let me just be clear. Fat Joe's verse was very good. It was I think it might have been the tightest on the song. Its flow was ridiculous, etc.
Yeah.
It just also may have my new favorite no homo line that we've got here, because that one line pops up and it just stands out so strong in the middle of that line is hard like a penis.
It's true. But like I like that anyways, because it made me like in my head.
You like hard penis, I get it.
No, but like in what I was reading about when you're a jet to your last cigarette, like it just all I could hear was like if you know what West Side Story is, and like you like that's just what I would hear. That's like what I'm hearing as soon as when you're a jet, like I know the song. And like,
oh, that's like a thing.
It's a West Side Story song. It's from West Side Story, and they're from New York, so it all kind of makes sense. So, anyways, I like that. But like for me, like I gave this a 4 on 5. Like, and I probably would have given it a higher mark, but really it was just like that background noise. I found it so distracting, and like I didn't really know that it was necessary to be put there.
And as far as this song goes, it's definitely the posse cut on the album.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of Whiz 1. He starts us off, and I think he's pretty fine. I don't know that he's like next level. I feel like he just kind of works really well on the song, but in a way where I don't know that I would ever look up his name based on his performance. Like, it wasn't stellar. It was just, yeah, it's cool. It's all right. And, you know, like, see, it ain't ever dreamed I would take this device, recite out facts, life's concise, precise, get nice and entice you with the rod and move without a carrot, or standing tall saying, oh yes, yes, y'all, because I'm tantalizing, motorizing, hypnotizing, never ever plagiarizing, just verbalizing, harmonize. And it's not like any of that's bad, it's just, while you're saying you're not plagiarizing, it's also just not standing out in a way that sounds fresh and original to me.
Fair.
I thought it was all right, but his verse like fits, right? Then you have Maestro Fresh West, who I did enjoy more. I thought he had more fun. Like, there's just something more to his voice and his delivery that was pretty cool. But again, I don't know if there was a whole bunch I thought was amazing in his verse. I did like when he goes, Dominic Wilkins still can slam Dunkin' Donuts, but I'll make you runners to a groove that's smoother than a lubricant or petroleum, because he's like playing off of the can there, because it's a can of petroleum. It's a mic I'm holding, but like at the same time, it's not hard like a penis revolutionary, you know? Then there's Mike GQ, and again, it's the same kind of thing, but like honestly, I'm having trouble at this moment remembering what he sounds like. But he's like, I don't remember anybody sounding bad. It's just nobody's like, they weren't really coming in as like stand out. Like, sometimes the posse cut has stand out, and then sometimes the posse cut has blend in. I feel like this is more on the blend in side, and it's all right. Fat Joe is absolutely a standout, as we've discussed. He's pretty fantastic at this, and I like the fact that he lets you know that even though he's fat, he can still freak. That's very important. And then, you know, Diamond D kind of comes in, and I like how they use past that shit like a blunt, but also like the microphone. So that's a cool and fun little pun.
Yep.
And I feel like Diamond D is all right. He's the last to get it because you finally passed the shit. Again, it's like, I don't know if that's super hype or not, but I guess it's factually true. You finally gave him the shit, so now he can finally spit. I knock simple motherfuckers over like a bowling pin. In my spare time, because get it? Bowling and spares. Mm-hmm. I like to shoot billiards. On my birthday, I got a shout from Willard Scott, who had beef with Bryant Gumbel. That's PWL. I'm really humble. And then I'm sitting there going, what the hell did he just say? Who are these people? I mean, you guys watching
maybe
this
it's
might
relevant.
know.
Maybe, like, you know, you would have to be like back, you know, in the day in 1992 and
yeah, it's
know
fine.
Who's up.
It's all right. He doesn't throw stones. He doesn't live in a glass house. Bonnie accused me of living in a glass house or throwing stones earlier over emptying the coffee temporary Keurig things, the little pink reusable ones we have.
Yeah.
Because if you don't dump it out right away, it's clunky.
He always tells me what to do about this coffee things, that I don't do it right.
And that's what happens sometimes.
And then He didn't do it.
That's right. So I was throwing rocks. Anyway, I like when he goes during the winter and just like Enter the Dragon. See, and I liked Enter the Dragon as a movie, so I thought it was cool. And the song just kind of ends. I give it a 4.35 because it's better than the 4.25s, but it's not quite as good as the 4.5s.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's a fun little posse cut, but what's really important is that while you're playing through this album, I could deal without the skits for sure. But as far as the songs go, I feel like they flow just seamlessly, and you don't want to stop listening to it once you start. Like, you really can just let this guy play all the way to the end. All the way to the freestyle co-written by Q-Tip.
So don't compare me to another brother, cause I'm the type that'll smother a whack MC, the DJ.
Listen, I don't know that Q-Tip wasn't in the sample or something, and that's why he got the songwriting credit. But I thought it was just funny that Q-Tip's in the songwriting credits on a song called Freestyle. Anyway, had to get that out of the way. But I really like this. I feel like the beat took it up a notch.
Yep.
I feel like the flow came in and took it up a notch. And it's like, ah, shit, I got your head bopping. And I'm like, it's true. My head was, in fact, bopping. Ain't no stopping, because the shit that I'm popping is from the heart. So you know I'm real, so you can relax. I'm sign and seal. You know a lot of faces in this rap shit. I always got a buck because I don't make whack shit. I'm like, yep, he's saying legitimate truths about himself on this track in the nature we've come to see him do it. It's not new, but it's really good. And then I really liked when he's like, got to give a shout to the large professor, thought I lost his number, but I left it on my dresser. And I'm like, that just sounds like it really happened. Like, he's just panicking in his room one day looking for the phone number of the large professor because, you know, the dude wanted to work with him and he's tripping. And that's funny. Dedicated to real rap, so don't compare me to another brother, because I'm the type that'll smother a whack MC as DJ or any other member of your crew. Not a thing you can do. And I'm like, he does sound like pretty proper. Like I could imagine if you're going against him, you can try to floss, but he's gonna come at you with that grounded real shit and poke holes in anything dumb you see. I like how he just kind of puts it out to everyone, whether it's women or men, Jews or Gentiles. Going biblical on y'all.
Catholics, Protestants.
That's what's up. And then, again, the rest of the song comes on through and it kind of follows the same sentiment in terms of tone and everything. And it's really nice to listen to.
Yep.
I think when I said P&B rock in part one, I meant to say P rock, throwing it out there. Anyway, I really like this one a lot. I think it's got a great, enjoyable, fun, enthralling beat, and I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, this one is like, it's pretty fun, and like you said, you know, he's there to bring joy to everybody. Like, he just wants his music to be for everyone and for everybody to enjoy it, and like, kind of like you said, because he says like girls, boys, you know, like, you know, men and women or whatever, so it kind of is like what you said earlier, family friendly.
Relative to like a lot of stuff we've heard, this is family friendly.
I mean, there is like some songs, it's like, what are the songs?
Maybe Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop is
like,
a bit
and shut the fuck up, and like things like that.
Fuck what you heard.
So, like, I mean, there's
well, you know
like,
what he's saying, Bunny? Fuck what you heard.
Some exceptions, but I mean, really, like, this is like a hype song with, and it's super catchy. It's fun to like listen to. It sounds really cool. I really like the beat on this one. In terms of like lyrics and stuff, they're good, but like I didn't really find it was anything new that we had heard.
Yeah, it's just fun.
But just fun. So I gave it a 4.1 on 5.
That's right, because Bonnie sounds like a big pile of shh. That was another lyric in the song, and I like. Anyway, I don't mean that.
Rude.
I'm on the
Rude,
couch tonight, so I'm gonna kiss the situation. Keep it simple, stupid.
That's right.
Show you how it has to be done. Don't front. You're not the first or the last to be warned of the skills opposite.
So at this point, I feel like we're not maybe gonna get a whole lot of new, because this definitely feels like, to me at least, it's in the same vein as the last track. But a little bit like, again, like I like how he starts going out to the Zulu Nation, and then you go out with the old and in with the new. I'm well suited because I know what to do. And I like how he's like showing respect to the past while almost still trying to usher in like this new wave of sound and direction that he can bring it. But then it really just kind of goes on and flows in the same kind of lyrical sense of he's good, he's the quality, he's this. He does say, and I really enjoyed this line, I go on and on like inflation, because inflation's a motherfucker. And if you look at the inflation rate of Canada against the average salary rate of Canada over the last decade, Oof. I don't know what it's like in America. I don't look at those numbers, but it's not a happy situation in Canada. But I like the fact that Diamond D is still releasing albums. So in a sense, he really has competed with inflation in terms of staying relevant.
Yep.
I don't know. I like this one a lot. I don't know that, again, there's a lot more that I can add to this part of the review that isn't going to be repetitive. I mean, he keeps ticking like a Timex. I go to whole 9. So if you reach a climax, blame it on the boogie, blame it on the rhythm, blame it on the vibe that I give him. So I like the fact that he shouts out Timex, such like a kind of basic watch, all things considered.
Yeah.
And then kind of makes the little sex joke, but more about how his music is going to give you orgasms and shit. I don't know. It's fine. I gave it another 4.35 on 5 because I do really enjoy the vibe of this. I don't feel like I'm selling it as much as I feel in my soul, but it's freaking hot in this room because, you know, as you can tell, the planet is apparently literally hotter than it's ever been. Not even like making it up. We've achieved new heats.
And we've used up all of our resources for the year, like yesterday.
I don't know what that means.
Like we've used up all of our like what should be enough for an entire year. We used it all up like yesterday, July 29th, I believe.
Nice.
So now we're just using extra resources.
Can we just point out that I don't own a Rolex, but he absorbs beats like a Kotex and get funky just like Chotex is a great line because Kotex is a tampon if I'm not mistaken because Kotex fits period.
Well, it's a brand makes...
Kotex fits period. See, that's good branding.
Yeah.
It sticks in my head.
There you go.
And then he absorbs the beat the way that the Kotex absorbs the vag stuff. I don't know if anyone here wanted me to talk about the endometriomes. I can get into detail. I've learned people don't like that.
Okay.
So anyway, 4.35 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, similar thoughts. I mean, it's a nice one. I really like how like it feels a little bit more like jazzy, and I like the sounds of like the cello or like the bass or whatever it is that's in like the background. I like it when you can kind of like point out like real instruments, or at least real instrument sounds featured on music. So I always think that that's cool. I think the lyrics are nice. From the Rockies to the Appalachians, his skin hits skins across the nation, but I won't budge if she's on her menstruation. Yeah, I won't swim in the Red Sea even if it's so Betsy.
Well,
so again,
I understand where he's coming from.
On the flow of menstruation.
Are you guys good to go on the flow if you feel comfortable?
Out by periods. You know, I don't know. Some guys are, I guess, or maybe. But like, I just think it's cool, like the way that he's kind of like talking about like the mountains, and I don't know. I just thought it was funny, like his like, I don't know, description of a period. And how he won't have sex during a girl's period. So anyways, I give it a 4.2 on 5. It's nice. It's fun to listen to, but it's not like the best or new. It's cool though. Did
you guys expect to get like a solid minute talking about menstruation on this podcast? Anyway, the next track is the title track, and the name of this album happens to be Stunts, which is women, Blunts, which is marijuana, and hip-hop, which is a genre of music / a culture. Depending on who you ask and how you want to break that shit down, it gets real complex. Stunts, blunts, and hip-hop.
Cool.
Man, this might be one of the best beats on the album. Just the funkiness of it, the kind of like all of a sudden you're feeling like it's fast-paced again. It's got this upbeat bounce to it, and it's really cool. And I like how each verse reflects one of the subject matters that is kind of like the key point of this song. So it's obviously a play on sex, drugs, and rock and roll, because Stunts is ladies, therefore, you know, man's best friend.
Yep.
Just what I'm saying, you know, the people who will fornicate you. Weed is like drugs because it's drugs, but it's a fun drug that goes real well with hip-hop, which is just the twist on rock and roll. And then just the pace of it, like Stunts on man's best friend, ask any man, he'll say it with a grin, young or old, rude boys and man, 40 ounce of a glass of gin. And it's just got like this cool bouncy freaking flow, and you just basically, people like girls, and we like hitting on girls, and sometimes when you get a drink, you can, you know, have more than a few more girls, and it's nice.
A few more girls.
And then the second one is just gotta put the herb in the blunt. And then just the whole thing about smoking pot. And it's just pretty fun. And then he wants much more money than Donald Trump. I don't know that he achieved that goal, but he does want it. And it's pretty cool. I really, really like that. I thought it was fun. And then my favorite verse, though, was absolutely the third one, where he breaks down almost a historical legacy of people who you must know in hip-hop. Probably people we should go out of our way to review, maybe, or something. To know your future is to know your past. Thanks, Cool Herc. And I like how he just thanks him. You know, grandfather of hip-hop, bringing the DJs, the turntables on over, showing the way. Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bam was jams were a blast. Cool Crush 4, nobody could pass. Ground was a Theodore, his hands were fast. Fantastic 5, who let with the cash. Busy B, who crushed up the hash. Treacherous 3, no one surpassed. And his flows
we haven't done any of those guys.
And it's just really cool just to like lay it down. And again, the more we get into this channel, the more I think the history of hip-hop is super important to understand, to be able to kind of qualify at all. Any kind of conversation, was good or bad, it's important to see this transition. So I thought it was amazing that as much as he's trying to do his thing and take over, he's willing to take that time and remind everybody to pay their respect. And I thought this song was brilliant. I thought it was a 4.5 on 5, and truly one you should check out if you don't bother to check out the whole album.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a great kind of title track. So I mean, kind of like you said, it's you know, the first verse is sort of about like ladies, you know, being your your best friend, or a man's best friend, and the second verse is about, you know, they love blunts and weed and everything, and like you hear them like toking and everything, and then the third verse is just kind of like make your legacy and shouts out like others who have like influenced them and who have influenced like hip hop in general, I think, and most of them I don't know, so I am 100% with you that we should check them out. I definitely have been wanting to like check out Grandmaster Flash for a while. I mean, I feel like his name comes up like all the time, but honestly, I don't think I've ever even heard of like the other ones. So I'm definitely down to like check them out. I like it. It's sort of like a good album summary. About, you know, it kind of like wraps it up. This is what it's been about. You know, it's been about stunts, blunts, and hip hop, and just kind of like that. This is what they're about too. So I think that that's pretty cool. So I give it a 4.4 on 5.
Is that what you're about, Lindell? Is that what you're about? Stunts, blunts, and hip hop?
Damn, yeah.
I bet sometimes I wonder, you know, what Lindell's like. You know, just I do, because of the music he provides. That's the interesting thing, I guess, about these
Patreon requests. You kind of
requests.
gotta look into like their ears, I guess.
Plus, Lindell comments a lot, so we get to talk to him a lot.
Yeah.
But I think Lindell really is about stunts, blunts, and hip hop. Anyway, the next track is Wuffman Stressed Out.
I say one thing, I'm fucked up.
It sounds to me like this is hobo bum guy at like the corner just kind of yelling some stuff out. So this context one was more relatable to some of the other ones. Like, I kind of picture this one.
I guess.
And yeah, it's fine. The beat's fine. It's fine. It does its job. It's a little skit thing. It's well produced. And I have to give him credit. As much as I haven't been super enthusiastic or saying I like them in any conceivable way, I do think they're well made, because in every one of these skits you get a little unique production piece that just goes with that skit. And considering how good the production is, it does make the skits a little more blend into the album than, say, had it just been completely drastic or completely something else. So I give it a 4 on 5.
Yeah, honestly, it sounded like Lil Wayne. And it's supposed to be like a guy who's, you know, homeless guy who's maybe been involved in drugs for a long time. So it's just funny that it made me think of him like right away. It's just a guy begging for money, and it definitely sounds like he's been around. So for me, like, I wasn't really sure of the purpose, but then again, like, I guess, well, like, I don't know, it's part of life, I guess.
Painting context.
Yeah. So I gave it a 4 on 5 as well. I mean, it's okay.
All right. Well, can you feel the vibe?
I'd like to.
I used to cut a jams when I was 4'3". Early in the morning, listen to.
I feel like this track is just very much about the hip hop of all of the things, and just again back to creating that cool, fresh, authentic music that we've been getting for the last while on it. I don't know about you, but I feel like my commentary is in the same vein as the last ones. The beat's a little more jazzy, I guess. I guess it's a sax you can hear or something right there. And I like it because it sounds different. It sounds nice. You're still bopping your head and everything.
I don't know if it's a sax or clarinet, maybe. I'm thinking.
Maybe. But it's the same kind of stuff, like concentrate on that funk vibe, learn your roots, put on your Timberland boots, and I'm true to my art, I never fake a move. Keep your head bowed into the psychotic groove of I vibe is erotic, contagious, sporadic. I love beats so much I'm damn near neurotic. Get it? Psychotic Neurotics.
Yep.
And as he likes to do is point out that his music has the power to make ladies sploosh everywhere. So just like the Beatles, he gets the panties wet is what I'm trying to say. I didn't say he gets your panties wet. I'm saying he gets the ladies' panties wet. The general vibe.
It didn't imply that happened.
This track also features Showbiz, which is really nice because that dude is super freaking talented to listen to.
Yep.
But I don't know that I'm feeling a whole lot coming on. However, his beats was clogged. He needed liquid plumber. Damn, I wonder why he sound like Donna Summers or Nat King Cole. That style is old. 100 G's up front, you just been sold. They kidnap your creative control. No chance of going platinum or gold. It wouldn't happen to me. I got the skills that's ill and I'm real because I feel the beat. And he's taking a little bit of shots at just people who kind of sign up their soul and give up their creative control, who sell out. And like a lot of people will be blinded by the potential for money, but yo, fame, like, it's not necessarily worth it to have 1 million people hear your shit in a vapid way. There's a whole history of one-hit wonders who got that one song and couldn't flip it or anything. So being underground with that integrity, you know, it may not be the fastest growth path out there, but you'll definitely get realer fans than if you do try to sell out. You gotta like live the life that you preach and crap.
Yep.
And then we get Diamond back on the third verse, and it's proper, you know. I knew a kid who was nice on the mic, had a record deal, but the deal wasn't real because the record label wasn't spending any loot, but he had a deal. My man got soup. He knew a lot of old beats, but it didn't matter. The label had other ideas for the plot. I heard the song had the screen. They had him rhyming over hype drum machines. He didn't like it, but he had to say it. He had no say, and now he's out of here today. And again, it's the same kind of thing. Like, even if you're not into the music you're creating, if you're in that path, you really have no control, and you almost got to do whatever the label tells you. Otherwise, I mean, there's a good chance you owe them money, and you're kind of in a bad news bear situation. All things considered, I like the educational vibe of almost like why we are underground artists pursuing the vibes that we're pursuing and the way that we're doing it. So I like it. It's a 4.5 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the beat on this one. I find it's really cool and yet still quite simple. And I like how it just the flow of it is really fun. I like it. And when he's talking about digging in the crates, I like that. That's kind of like a reference to the his other project, because I now know what that means. And thanks to doing this, and overall, I mean, it's just about finding a cool vibe, and and it's a cool song because he's cool. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
All right. Well, the question then remains, what are your views from the underground?
That gangsta, and I'm tired of these motherfucking bullshit rap.
Well, Fat Joe's back.
Yep.
It's got a real funky, cool little beat, though. I gotta give it credit. And it says, yeah, this is Joe, the fat gangster. Tired of these motherfucking bullshit rappers getting dope deals and all that. Well, they can just suck my dick. Again, it's again questionable on the sexuality front. You know what I'm saying? Hot, to hell with them. So I gave it a 4 on 5 because this was just a whatever way to end the album.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty much the same way. I'm it seems kind of like an odd ending for me. I was just kind of what?
Well, you see, Joe, the fat gangster's up in here.
Yes.
And he's here to tell all the rappers with deals to suck his dick.
Yeah.
Then he went ahead and became a rapper with all the deals, man. Because I reviewed Plato o Ploma. And boy, did Joe become what he is hating here today. Anyway.
That's what you get. I gave it a 3.5 on 5.
So that's the end of this album review.
Yeah.
I totally dug it.
Yeah.
So I have 2 grades here. The actual album review, the one that counts, that includes the skits, is a 4.2939. If you cut out the skits, it bumps it up to a 4.382. I think this is a really fun album to listen to in the sense that like the beats is fantastic, the vibe is really great. You can put it on at like a party or whatever, and it's gonna definitely be something that people can vibe to, people can dance to. You know, if you're just kind of chilling to it, you got some lyrics coming through that are nice. He's got quirky one-liners all over the album, and in general, it's like a fun, good time that, in my opinion, totally has its time and place and isn't gonna be my regular sound.
I feel like you can throw this on, like, if you're going on, like, a long road trip and you've got, like, hours to kill and, like, you're gonna go through album after album and you want to have, like, you know, like, random old school, like, hip-hop. Throw this one on. Why not? It's fun.
And it totally like fits a vibe where you can just listen to it the whole way through. Like I think I saw someone online describe how this is an album where you can kind of go A to Z on it and it's totally fun, and I agree.
Yeah.
And it's almost got 26 songs, so it's almost like you can go A to Z letter for song. It's only got 23. It's okay. It's close. But yeah, I like it a lot. In terms of like I feel like this is the kind of album more people should listen to better understand how music got to where it is today.
Yeah.
And on that front, the history side of it was amazing. So thanks, Lindell.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, our grades are actually quite similar. I gave it a 4.24. I think you gave it a 4.29.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically the same thing. On 5, so it's an 84.8%.
Like normally, I'll give something a 4.5 and you'll give it a 4. So I don't know if that means like for you, this is like me giving it a
it averages out. Anyways. But, yeah, I mean, it was a fun album. It was enjoyable to listen to. I mean, it was very Lindell. I appreciate that. I like getting to know people through music. So I think that this is a great experience that we get to kind of do this. And that you get to watch it. And we hope that you enjoyed it too, I guess.
And if you listen to the albums, then you get to learn about them too through the music like us. That's all you have to do is listen to all the ones from Lindell.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I guess that's the end of this one. Thank you for watching. It totally means the world for us to be here, for you to be here with us. Freak, it's hot. Feel free to leave a comment about anything. Let us know how hot it is where you are in the world, because I know Europe's suffering in a way where I'm feeling like I should shut up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not quite that hot. So you feel free to leave a comment about whatever. If you make the effort, I'll definitely make the effort to answer you. And who knows, maybe you'll be next week's favorite comment of the week.
Ooh.
And, yeah, like the video if you did. You can subscribe to the channel for more videos, and special thanks to the patrons, including the new one. Fuck, I have to remember it now. Coney Sparks, Lindell Williams, Ismail Dempsey, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane. They're all awesome. They help us kind of just grow, and we got a new camera because of them, and then we can get new stuff. Like, I'm thinking we're going to soon move into buying some bootleg versions of merch and getting some bootleg shipping out from Canada.
Why does it have to be bootleg?
Well, I mean, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I feel like our first efforts aren't going to be the greatest, and they'll get better over time as we learn through our experience. Or maybe we get lucky and it's just nice.
I hope that's
either way. I want to get some behind that suit toques. That's right. Toques, because that's in my opinion the coolest fashion accessory you can rock in the summer.
Sure.
So thank y'all for watching. It really does mean the world to it. Us make music too. Got an album coming out shortly. You can check it out. It's gonna be all right. I'm not even gonna lie. You can check that out. What's available now in the description of this video. You'll see links and crap. And yeah, we're gonna go melt or whatever it is people do as they die in the heat. Have a great night, day.
Bye, guys.